This course has audio. Please adjust your headset and volume as required. You can hide or display the closed captioning and the menu anytime during this course. Click Next to proceed with the session. Welcome. This session provides an overview of Vocolect's newest voice solution, Vocolect VoiceExpress. You may navigate to the Help section at the top right corner of the screen to learn about navigation options within this course. Click Next to proceed. At the end of this session, you will be able to describe a VoiceExpress solution, list the components of VoiceExpress Solution, identify the libraries that support VoiceExpress application development, and state the start-to-finish process of implementing a VoiceExpress solution. VoiceExpress is a host connector solution that requires little or no IT interaction from the customer and no changes to the customer's existing WMS. VoiceExpress is designed for fast implementation. The time needed to develop, refine, and implement a VoiceExpress solution is far less than for other voice products. VoiceExpress is purpose-built for warehouses that already have a defined process that uses Telnet protocols such as VT220, 3270, and 5250 to communicate with a WMS. You will learn more about the architecture of VoiceExpress in the next few pages. Here is an example of how an existing RF display-driven warehouse process is seamlessly converted to a voice solution using VoiceExpress. Click the markers on the timeline below to see how an existing terminal emulation solution is converted to a VoiceExpress solution. In a display-driven solution, the operator reads instructions on a device display screen to perform their task. You see an example of a device screen that requests the operator to provide user ID and password information. The Telnet server is responsible for this text communication between the host and display. After the operator provides the necessary information, the information is sent to the host machine via an emulation protocol. Then, with the help of these emulation protocols, the WMS sends further information to the operator that corresponds to the next screen that will display on the device. With the VoiceExpress solution, you can translate the RF screen's visual instructions into voice prompts and replace keypad presses with the operator's spoken response. Screen information sent by the Telnet server is retrieved by the VoiceExpress server, a terminal emulation tool. The VoiceExpress server provides the mechanism for parsing the Telnet screens, as well as updating the screens with the information collected by the voice application. The voice application communicates with VoiceExpress server via the standard LUT ODR library provided to voice artists and developers. Based on the operator's response to the audible prompt, the voice application that resides on the voice-enabled hardware platform sends appropriate information to the VoiceExpress server, which in turn updates the WMS. The voice application requests the next screen, and the VoiceExpress server returns it in the form of a lookup table, or LUT response. This process continues as per the voice application logic. As a prerequisite, the customer site should have a host and Telnet server in place. Vocolect will provide the installation kit and instructions to install and configure VoiceExpress Server, VoiceExpress Development Environment, VoiceExpress Library, and VoiceExpress Sample Application in order to develop and implement the voice application. VoiceExpress Development Environment is a very helpful tool for developers for testing their voice application against a test server. The VoiceExpress solution supports read-only calls to a database. This makes the VoiceExpress solution more flexible and supports a voice application that can significantly improve productivity and accuracy gains. The VoiceExpress library is used along with the other available Voice Artisan libraries such as Core Library, LUT-ODR Library, Python Library, and HTTP Library to come up with unique solutions for every customer workflow requirement. The VoiceExpress library, along with the VoiceExpress server, provides a framework for partners or end customers to quickly and easily create voice applications that interface wirelessly with the WMS through existing terminal emulation protocols such as VT220, 3270, and 5250. This library contains a number of APIs that helps the developer to create and validate a voice application based on RF screens. More information about these APIs can be found in the help content of Voice Artisan. The Vocalect VoiceExpress library allows developers to create voice applications for voice catalyst devices that communicate wirelessly with a warehouse management system. The VoiceExpress library provides out-of-the-box support for viewing the current Telnet screen from a web browser on a desktop or on a Vocalect Pidient device that is connected to a device that runs on the Voice Catalyst platform. This support is dependent on the Vocalect HTTP library 1.2.0. With the VoiceExpress solution, you can also download and install an example VoiceExpress application. This example application gives you a picture of how the VoiceExpress solution is structured and shows how the APIs are used in the application. Now that you are familiar with the components of VoiceExpress Solution, here is an overview of the start-to-finish process of implementing VoiceExpress Solution. Use the numbers at the bottom of the page to review the process in order. This is the most important step in the implementation of a VoiceExpress solution. During this phase, the customer has to provide the solution developer with the complete documentation of the workflow screens, including any exception screens, and the description of the data being entered. Without this information, you cannot proceed with the development of a VoiceExpress application. This documentation serves as a blueprint for application development. These screens are used for mapping functions in the voice application, which is a fundamental concept in creating a voice solution for a terminal emulation system. All the libraries should be installed and available for use within Voice Artisan. These libraries simplify the process of the voice application development. The developer should be familiar with Voice Artisan and the process related to terminal emulation in order to develop an effective voice application. Once the voice application is ready, it can be tested using Voice Artisan's Voice Catalyst emulator and LUT-ODR window with or without a host system. The ability to test the solution without a host is a plus if you do not have access to a host system or its test server. However, you should test on the host system if you can gain access. Once you obtain a sign-off for your VoiceExpress application, you can release the application for deployment in production environment. Remember, screen problems stop the show. If the screens at the site are not exactly the same as the screens you used to build the voice application, it's a showstopper. Screen problems stop workers dead in their tracks. That's why it's important to get all the right screens in step 1 of the implementation. If there's a screen problem, drop back to RF or to whatever system the customer used before introducing the voice solution. Get the information you need, go back to the developer, and fix the problem. You may notice the dialog could use some fine-tuning, such as adding or changing a word. You might also notice some minor glitches. Note these, and plan to make the changes. These sorts of changes usually don't interfere with production use, but you and your customer can decide if it's necessary to roll back to the old system. VoiceExpress is a solution that makes both development and implementation of a voice application very easy and quick. In this session, you have learned that VoiceExpress is a host connector solution that requires little or no IT interaction from the customer and no changes to the customer's existing WMS. The VoiceExpress solution comprises a VoiceExpress server, VoiceExpress library, and a compatible voice-enabled hardware platform that are used to build voice applications for a terminal emulation system. VoiceExpress Development Environment is a very helpful tool for developers for testing their voice application against a test server. Core Library, LUT-ODR Library, Python Library, and HTTP Library are used with VoiceExpress Library in order to create a unique solution for a customer's workflow. The steps for implementing a VoiceExpress solution include project definition, development, refining and revising, and implementation. To complete this course, you must complete the final quiz with a score of 80% or higher. Click Next to proceed with the quiz.